following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
It is a Thursday inside the SWBC podcast studio here at the Star in Frisco, and we are into day number 2 of Colts week as Mickey Spagnola looks at his watch, and yes, sure enough, it says high noon. It's time for the start of another edition of Mick Shots.
And a practice pretty soon.
That's right. That's what you were looking at
That's
your
right.
watch for.
You
have an alarm set on your watch for when practice starts?
Except
it's later.
They change it so many times.
That's right.
I'd have
We've got
alarms
on this
going
winter
off.
schedule.
Yeah, winter schedule.
And so what time does practice start today?
I believe 12:15.
12:15, same as yesterday.
Yeah.
They go a little longer today. They're going an hour and 5 minutes today.
Oh. Well, so we might see a little bit of it.
It was like an hour yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, I think, today, because the locker room opens at 1:45, I think, today.
So since we can't go out when everybody else gets invited out, is it okay if we go out then when we can go out?
You just, whenever you would like to go out
Yeah.
there, just don't tell anyone that you're watching practice.
I'm
They
in a
might
whole,
draw down on
I'm
us.
in a whole different category. I'm not part of you guys. I'm not part of
You
them.
media guys.
So I can just kind of.
So you and Charles Haley go out there anytime you want.
No, I'm not Charles. I'm not like
So
Charles.
you could just go walk out there in the middle of the field,
that
right?
would be Charles.
Yeah, right.
I am not quite there. I could sneak out, and then when I'm noticed, they would escort me off the field. But no, I can definitely sneak out there first.
Coach Charles.
Yeah, they won't catch me till about 20
I'm walking.
minutes.
They were just finishing yesterday, and I'm walking through the training table where everybody eats, and I'm almost past it, and I hear somebody yell, "Hey, shrimp!"
Oh, Lord.
And I knew it was him.
Lord.
Right? I didn't even have to look. I didn't even turn around. I said, "Charles, what do you want?" And I was about 20 yards away from him, I think.
You know,
What a piece of work.
See how much of a closer a relationship
Yes.
you have with those players from the 90s than today?
me and
because you
Charles.
had great access to them.
no,
back
because
then.
he's not covering them anymore. That's what it is. He's not writing bad stuff about
It's not like-
guards not being drafted and why waste time on a guard in the first round and talking about his rants and things of that nature. I'm sure he ranted on a few of the players back in the 90s.
I got a rant today.
Oh, you do?
Uh-oh.
When would you like to rant? Would you like to rant now or later?
It just dawned on me. I'm
Here we go.
driving
Here we go.
down Sam Rayburn.
Here we go.
Right?
Which
And
is 121.
121.
Can we pause for a second?
Yes, we
We're gonna
can.
pause.
Thank you. Pause,
Thank
Mick.
you.
Pause
Thank
for
you.
just a
That's
moment.
70 miles an hour.
Continue.
And I passed this car, and some guy is having a fit who's driving. He's got both hands up in the air waving, and his head's going back and forth and around, and he's screaming, right? I'm assuming he's talking on his phone,
yeah.
right? But both hands?
He's got the knee working.
Why don't people have to use both hands to talk on the phone?
That's
no
what
one's
it says. It
seeing
says
him.
hands free.
And if you would have seen, his head going, you would have thought it was some kind of movie. Some of these guys having a fit or something, you know?
So was
Like
he
he was-
keeping the speed and was
Yeah.
he staying in his lane?
Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See? It's hands free. So
Yeah.
he was using his
Hands
knees.
free.
He
I
was
got
using his knees. Yeah.
I don't know. It was amazing.
It was a distraction to you.
Yes, it was.
Well, you should-
Which lane was he in?
Well, there's 4, right?
Was he in?
So he would, if you start from the right, he was in lane 2. I was in lane 3.
I don't understand why he was such a nuisance to you if he's going the speed limit.
and he's not
And he's
coming out of
staying in
his
his
lane.
Because I
lane.
saw all this action in the car.
See, you would be a danger to the community now because
I'm looking at him?
You're looking at him, and now you're
Okay.
being distracted, and you probably veered towards him a little bit. I'm
No,
sure.
absolutely not. No.
Absolutely not. Okay.
He had a self-drive. He was in a self-driving
Yeah, maybe
vehicle.
that was it.
Right.
The
All right,
future is here.
Let's continue.
All right, and I'm going to have a rant later in
Yeah, I
the
was
show,
gonna
by
say,
the way.
we're gonna do this now or wait?
No, we'll wait until later
Okay.
in the show because we need to hear what Mickey has to say about the injury report
injury
from yesterday.
update from yesterday. Anthony Barr was listed as limited, and Mike McCarthy said in his press conference that he looked good. They just want to see how he returns today, but they felt like he did a really good job. So there's a chance that he's ready to go. J-Ron Kearse and DeMarcus Lawrence both limited. Kearse said in the locker room that, yeah, I'm good to go. He returned, but he's probably got a harness on his shoulder.
So a dislocated shoulder as opposed to a separated shoulder. You would rather have a dislocated shoulder than a separated shoulder.
Yeah, I think that's...
Because you can
relocate.
Relocate. Yes.
You can relocate the shoulder, but a separated shoulder takes some time.
You're right. Yeah.
like a marriage. Yeah.
Right. You can be dislocated. But
dislocated
sometimes it goes
relationship.
back in.
But if you're separated, then that's going to take some more time to heal.
Out. Yeah, that means you moved out.
And then two guys, they had 5 days between the game and then practice. They had basically 5 days off. And you would have thought all the illnesses would have gone away, but they haven't. Trayvon Diggs and Michael Gallup are the two next ones to not practice yesterday, and they are not practicing again today. They're probably telling them, no, they did tell them, stay home. Don't bring that stuff in.
They're participating virtually.
Virtually, yes, in the meetings.
How do you feel? You been feeling anything?
No.
No? Me either.
I'm perfect now.
You're perfect.
Finally. It took me 2 weeks to get over it.
Yeah.
And
good.
Yesterday was the first day I felt 100%.
That's cool.
I mean, literally, it can knock you out for a while.
It's
I mean, you can
these
feel
guys.
it. You just feel it. You're not energized. And I mean, even just studying. I mean, you can sit in
Your eyes get tired.
I mean, yeah, you're just run down.
Well, I'll tell my wife she's got another week to go.
She said.
So she's had it for a week?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
We're cool on my end. I just hadn't had anything. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I can understand how the player. I mean, now you're expecting them
tip-top shape,
right? And you're expecting them to play at this level. You know, I can understand missing some games.
Hey, man, go open the door. Go open the door, please. Come on, man.
Oh, it's Brad Sham.
Come on. No, bring your butt on in here.
He wants to move on.
Oh, he got to use the restroom. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to do your potty break. You might have had a potty break.
Okay, Douglas, if you're listening, I'll be in here for 5 minutes, and I'll be in to report what you wanted me.
And I saw your script. It's going to take you 10 seconds.
I understand. I know that.
What's up, Bradley?
How you doing, Cub?
Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm all right.
The voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham,
Jones,
feeling
how are you?
great.
Sure.
Yeah, you feeling great. Yeah.
Me?
How you feel?
Ho, ho,
You're
ho,
sitting kind of close to me. So
It's more than 6 feet.
we're good.
You don't have your headphones on, but we just heard a ho, 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 ho from the voice of the Cowboys.
What game was that from?
Producer Supreme?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's probably back in the 90s.
Yeah, probably.
That's a 90s Brad.
Although that sounded kind of sarcastic.
I have no idea. That could be anything.
Sounded like something went wrong.
We probably scored like 10 touchdowns that day, and he was just giving presents out to everybody.
Could be anything.
That's right.
You know, one thing about Brad when he does the game, you don't sugarcoat anything.
I
Sometimes
never
you
have.
see so much of it, and you got Babe sitting over there. You don't know he's just trying to play off of you, and you're sitting there, and you're like, and the guy just broke through for a 50-yard touchdown, and here we go again. You're like, okay, that's it.
I learned a long time ago. Bill knows this. When you do a game for a network, radio, television, statewide, national, doesn't matter, then your listeners are not tuning in to hear that game, or viewers. They're not tuning in to hear that game. When you do a team's games, it really doesn't matter who's doing the game. They turned it on to hear the Cowboys. And so why am I going to celebrate?
Right.
Now, sometimes the other team does something really spectacular, and just as an athletic achievement, it deserves to be recognized.
Right.
But I'm certainly not going to celebrate the other team. My audience is tuning in to hear how the Cowboys are doing, and so I can be emotionally honest in that moment. And I have never disguised how I feel. You know, I worked for 3 years with Eric Nadel doing Rangers radio, and I learned from him. I still learn from him every day. But one of the things that he does best, that objectively I would say I wish I could do, but I guess it wouldn't be me, is Eric is right down the middle. You know when he's happy, but you don't ever know when Eric is disgusted. And trust me, because I sat in a booth with him for 162 games for 3 years in a row.
We're watching Rangers
and
baseball.
Watching Rangers baseball.
Disgusted.
And he. There are times when he's disgusted. Okay, when I'm disgusted, everybody knows
you don't really hide it.
I don't hide it very well. I don't.
Must be a trait coming from Chicago.
Yeah, maybe. So, you know, we grew up watching a lot of bad football. So,
yeah.
I don't hide it very well.
So, are you a White Sox fan? Like,
I was raised. This is riveting for the Cowboys podcast audience. I was raised by Chicagoans.
Okay.
Who taught my brother and me to love Chicago teams. My very favorite teams were the 1959 White Sox. And they had a really unique personality, and then ownership changed, and they kind of lost their personality. And because of that, I became more of a Cub fan. But I'm not one of the Cub fans who hates the White Sox. I root for the White Sox when they're playing. I'm a fan of Chicago teams.
I think Cubby was hoping that you were a Cubs fan. Right?
No, that is not true at all.
That's not where the Cubby comes from.
Not where it comes from.
No, I'm a Cub fan. I'm an unabashed Cub fan, but I don't dislike the White Sox. Most Cub fans hate the White Sox. Almost all White Sox fans hate the Cubs.
That's true, Spags.
We had a divided neighborhood.
And Producer Supreme.
I can't tell you how many days and hours we argued about who was best.
Right.
Who had the best ballpark? Who had the best manager?
Yeah.
On and on.
It's because it's a little bit like Houston and Dallas.
Yeah. But a closer proximity.
But the thing is that the White Sox fans are just kind of overcome with jealousy of all of the attention the Cubs get, even when they're horrible.
Yes.
Okay?
And they were horrible my whole childhood.
Yeah, but they were still getting all the attention.
Right.
Okay? And the Cubs, they don't really care. It's Dallas and Houston.
Really?
Houston fans are so worked up about anything Dallas, Mavericks, Cowboys. And here, we just don't really care.
We really don't.
Don't pay attention.
Am I right?
No, I don't care what goes on down there.
Sure.
No.
You won an NBA championship. Isn't that
Great.
nice?
Yes.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's really nice that you did that. And the Astros are good. Terrific.
Great.
We're happy for you. How the Texans doing? And then they go sit in a corner and suck their thumb, and we don't care. And what kills them the most
Because we don't care.
is that we don't care.
We don't care.
Last time they went to the playoffs,
Texans?
all right, the Texans and the Cowboys were done, and their website tweeted out a picture of an empty AT&T stadium going, "Aw, too bad."
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this team's been going to the
Right.
playoffs all these years, right? And you go one time.
They've been holding that in their back pocket
Right.
for I don't know
And
how
this year
long.
they're going to have the number 1 overall pick, it looks like.
And they just don't. They haven't found a way to live with our complete disregard for, and we don't know that they're there.
It's almost like they're figuratively underfoot, right?
Yeah, kind of.
They're always down there. Yeah.
Oh, what did I step in? Let me just wipe this off.
It's Houston.
Yeah. Oh, it's Houston. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I feel that way, but that's how kind of Dallas.
That's kind of yeah.
And in Houston, they hate that. And White Sox and Cubs, I submit that there's a similar relationship between. Look, didn't you? I hate to bring this up. Were you not on one or two of those 5 and 11 teams with Dave Campo, or were you gone by then?
I was on the 1 and 15.
Way
That's all
gone.
you
No,
need
I know
to
that. I know that.
And then I was on Tom's 3 and 8, 3 and 13.
3-2, which, by the way, is the worst team I've ever seen for the Cowboys.
No, 89 was bad. 88, we actually kind of fought a little bit.
But a lot of it was with each other. And,
That's true.
Okay.
My hands were full. Yeah,
89, everything was shuffling through. Y'all were introducing
Including
yourselves
Everson.
to each other. Yes.
Shuffle me right on out.
Yes. I mean, there was no way. The way the whole 89 season was conducted, it was not with a plan for it to be that chaotic in the moment, but it was part of a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And
It was a development stage.
yeah, I mean,
It was the revolving door.
well, I mean, they were turning things. Tom had no idea when the 88 season began that team was going to perform like that.
Yeah.
No, it was the new 3-year plan.
Right. And that's a whole nother movie that I don't have time to get into right now. But
One more thing before you have to go do whatever you're going to do.
The one-line thing.
You know,
10
The
seconds.
10-second thing, yeah.
What is your biggest concern this week for this team against this team, the Colts?
Their defense is pretty good. So I think I don't think the team that's out there practicing right now is going to not take them seriously. But they've got a few injuries that it's that time of year now. Guys are going to play with injuries that would have the rest of us in the hospital. And so, you got to keep an eye on that. The running game, that's going to be a concern every week.
That's true.
Every week. And they may do what they did to the Giants. And the key to it, I think, is to have the offense really get going so that their defense has to pass.
Always.
They can't just run their way back in. But I think from the football team's standpoint, I would say keep having the right bodies healthy, keeping everybody healthy, and then their defense is pretty good. It's going to be a challenge.
We have depth. I think that's what's going to help
We
us.
do. I am astonished by these numbers of what the offense has done in the last 4 or 5 weeks. I really didn't realize that it was going that good.
Yeah.
That is something that can really stand up, especially if the defense keeps playing the way it is.
We talked about yesterday how no one's talking about Cooper anymore.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, Cooper's the teammate that he's always been, ready to go.
And he
whenever he's ready
he
to go.
did what they asked him to do. He was
did.
great.
He did.
Here's the thing. These games are all, Babe likes to say, there's ways to win all these games, which means there's ways to lose them all. But if on paper, these are 3 winnable games. And if they do that, they are then the NFL equivalent of bowl eligible. Because then they're at 11 games.
That's right.
And I don't think with 11, I don't think with 10 the way the NFC is this year, but when you get to 11, I don't think mathematically anybody can come catch you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to get in. And those last 3 are going to be interesting. So they really got to keep their foot down. I think they will. But the Indy defense gets my attention.
And, they're going to be like every team that gets off the bus to play the Cowboys. They're going to get
Got
off
something to
running the
Yep.
football, too.
And they're going to try to prove something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sunday night, we'll get better in front of the whole country.
That's right.
you
Everybody's
go.
going to see what we can do, as they're talking about the Colts.
Nice to see you, boys.
So turn
All right.
down the TV
All right.
sound. All right. Mick Shots
I
continues.
watch you to finish your read with ho, ho, ho. It's not on the script.
I will
you go.
because Douglas will edit it right out.
Mickey will have a practice report, and he'll have a report on the stretching Cowboys in just a moment here on Mick
Stretching
Shots.
Cowboys.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Barr and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, and it's in all caps, 214-225-4860. kpostroofing.com. No, kpostcompany.com. I refuse to say the www.
Sounds like I need to take that back.
Let me see that read for a second.
You got the www.
This is Thursday? No, where is it?
this is
Okay, Post at the top. It's every day.
Every day.
kpostcompany.com. There you go. 214
www.
225-4860.
www.
Let me see if I like Thursday's read. Otherwise, I'll give it to.
What is it?
The holiday camps.
All right, that's
so you think your voice brings joy?
That's
to
right.
The holidays, right? That ranty
brings
voice
joy to Mick Shots.
All right, what you see on the practice field?
I saw Tyron Smith come back out, do his resistant cord work. And
all pads?
This day, it looks like he's got all pads.
All pads.
And
they are in pads today, by the way.
We announced yesterday that the plan is for him to be back for Philadelphia. That's our plan for him. It's not their plan for him. It's our plan for him,
and
right?
The other one, we didn't get into, James Washington practice yesterday. And
he did.
Mike McCarthy said that he did more than they anticipated, so they were going to cut back a little bit today just to make sure they don't overdo it right from the start. But that he showed that he is a strong wide receiver, and we knew that by the way he's built, right? Yeah. And so, he was very happy with himself after the practice. Felt
How
like
tall
he
is
did
he?
good. They got him listed at 5'11", but I think he's taller than that.
You think so? I don't think so. He looks like, I think it's 5'11" is probably true.
Probably right.
Mm-hmm.
I can look up his combine numbers as far as his height goes. You give me a little bit of time.
What about
How about
his
Terrell
chest?
Basham? He did not get picked up on waivers yesterday.
Yeah, he cleared.
5'11", 216 they got him listed at.
Dang, 216? Wow. Oh, my goodness. That's thick.
Yeah.
That's
He's
thick.
got
for
some
5'11",
thickness about
For
him.
5'11".
Well, he's got shoulders.
Yeah,
I mean,
but golly, he got more than shoulders.
for a
if
guy
he's
that's speedy, too.
215.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Man, I can't wait to see him get on the field.
They were really happy for what they saw in him. You know what? I just saw something I don't think I've seen before. Leighton Vander Esch was kind of playing catch with George Edwards, the linebackers coach. And then he was standing at the 20-yard line, and he took the ball and he spun it. You know how guys put it, and it spun? And while it was spinning, he kicked it. And he almost made a 30-yard field goal. It almost made that far. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like you spin the ball, no one's holding it, and then you go and just kick it.
Do you think he was the kicker on his 8-man football team?
I bet he was anything they needed. Whatever they needed in high school, he did it.
I forgot we had another 6-man on the team. Well, not another, but Dan Campbell. We ranted about Dan Campbell and how huge he looked out there with his squad in high school. I would imagine Vander Esch is just not as overwhelming, but That's a big man.
Played
for playing 6-man football.
Played everything. Basketball.
He played basketball.
His dad was telling me a story about. He said he was coaching the basketball team or something, and he talked about how when they just needed something, they gave it to Leighton. Right. Yeah. If we needed free throws, send him to the line.
Well, I heard that his select team from Idaho, is that where he's from?
Yes.
And they would go to California, and they said they'd run the table. Basketball.
Baseball.
And
I'm sure he pitched or played shortstop, too.
They would run the table in basketball.
Yeah.
And they said he averaged close to 30 points a game.
Yep.
So that's a good athlete there.
State titles in football and basketball as a junior and senior at Salmon River High School in Riggins, Idaho. 8-man football, quarterback and linebacker.
5-man basketball.
It was 5-man basketball.
And it wasn't half court.
The girls, like 6 and 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and he's quite an athlete.
No, I heard he was a stud in high school.
James Washington at the Combine measured 5'11.0, exactly 5 feet 11 inches tall, 213 pounds. Ran a 4.54 40.
I thought he'd be faster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those clocks are really tough at the combines. It's like they speed them up or something, because you never run the time that you think you ran.
You know, he was pretty funny. He said, he got so tired of watching and seeing all the young guys out there, and he goes, I was starting to feel like I was old. And it's like, old?
Oh,
yeah, well, I'm 26. And it's
Lord.
Right, please.
I'm 26. Like, that validated everything.
And I looked up. This is the most games he has missed in his entire career. I looked up his 4 years at Pittsburgh, and he missed 4 games. And I don't know if that was or they decided not to play him or whatever, and no more than 2 in a season. But he was playing 15 of 16 games every year until this injury. So
I am very curious. If he comes on, I know that's, highly unlikely he goes out there and just everything just falls into place. But if he does do well, reasonably well, how does that look in regards to this Beckham sweepstake?
Right. I just don't think they're desperate to sign him. I think it's like, okay, I got a nice ice cream cone. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the cherry on top. But I don't need it. And those guys asked me today, and they asked me my thoughts on it. I said, I'm kind of ambivalent. It's like, yeah, if you get them, you get them. If you don't, it's not like the end of the world.
Right.
I would imagine the Giants think differently about their wide receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Buffalo, they got a couple good wide receivers, right?
Couple.
Who's the other guy other than Diggs?
Number 13. That's the guy that scores all the touchdowns over 80 yards.
Is it Davis?
Yes. His name is Gabe Davis, I believe is his name. Gabe Davis is the man, number 13.
They're probably still trying to replace Beasley, right?
I don't know. They hadn't needed him here lately. But I would imagine Beckham would be a nice replacement for Beasley.
Yeah.
Because at this time, their third receiver is not that experienced at all.
Isaiah McKenzie.
Is that who it is?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
And why do you have that in your book?
I just have it because this is the study that I do all year long.
But why Buffalo?
Because they were the pick to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you got
to measure the Cowboys against
their depth
the best. That's right. I got it right here. Yep.
And how did you find it so quickly?
Because it's in my notebook.
But how did you know where it was?
Because it's in order.
It's on the Buffalo page.
Alphabetical. Got a Buffalo page.
Uh-huh. It's on the Buffalo page.
Uh-huh. Right because he's a professional broadcaster.
Right after Baltimore. Yeah.
I was going to ask, I said, why do the Cowboys have all these illnesses? Does anybody else have any? Well, Indianapolis has 2 guys out. Actually, 1 guy out with an illness. Kiki Kute.
Texas Tech.
Yeah. Did not because of illness. And then they had another guy, Kylan Grayson, illness, but he practiced fully. So I guess it's going around the whole
Well,
country.
I think didn't the Giants have a few out when we played?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
they
think so.
did.
Yes.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They were struggling, I think, on their offensive line, if I remember
That's
correctly.
very true.
So anyway, there's your kind of
They had
up-to-the-minute
injuries on their offensive
injury update. And hopefully they keep the illness out of the locker room.
Keep it out of this studio.
Yes, absolutely.
The SWBC podcast studio.
All right. So Brad said his biggest concern was their defense, the Colts' defense.
They're ranked 6th.
Overall,
and they really, when I looked up, they weren't giving up that many points either. I don't remember if we talked about it yesterday.
we touched on it yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, I think I pointed it out that they only had like maybe 2 games more than 24 points. They gave up 26 to New England and 27 to Jacksonville.
And the New England game was the Ellinger game where he was sacked 9 times, 26-3 loss.
Right.
And that spelled the end of the Frank Reich era of Indianapolis Colts football.
Well, they've given up 43 sacks. Ellinger 11 and Matt Ryan 32. That's pretty heavy.
And it's what you expect from an old quarterback.
Right?
Just the way it is.
Just not. And I saw this note.
With limited receivers.
I saw this note. The Cowboys in back-to-back games have not given up a sack, and they have not done that in 3 consecutive games since '94. Not given up a sack.
And that's all. That's where credit goes all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Offensive line,
guys getting
open,
quarterback reading it right, and getting rid of it when he's supposed to.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my concern: is Indianapolis
just Indianapolis
coming off a mini bye week and playing not only Indianapolis but then Houston, then Jacksonville.
What do you mean a mini bye week?
Meaning you played Thanksgiving and you were off over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean the Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
I thought you meant
no. I'm meaning the opponent is
okay.
the fact that it's Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is not having a good season. They brought in a coach from the broadcast booth basically to be their head coach 3 weeks ago, and the Cowboys just coming off a 3-game in 12 days stretch and playing very well. Thanksgiving week over the Vikings and the Giants. But now you take a deep breath, and now, you look at the schedule and you go, you know what? We should be able to handle these teams.
Run the table.
Lackadaisical.
Like what I said the first day of the week here, or after the Colts game on Monday night, I came in and said, 11-3. We're going to Philly. We're playing Philly and Christmas Eve, 11-3.
You're not in the locker room.
All right, so Mike McCarthy at his press conference today talked about practice yesterday. It wasn't quite up to the standard, basically. I remember coming off the bye. I asked him coming out of the bye week, is it how difficult is it coming out of the bye week? You got your team back from spring break and get them refocused. And he said it can be a real issue, whatever. So now they came off of basically 5 days off, and now you got to restart the engine now. So that's my concern.
You know how it's hard for us to start the engine sometimes, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we get into that
Well,
mode.
think about it when you go on vacation, and then you got to come back to work on
Monday.
And you're it's like, what are we doing?
Well, the vacation is supposed to give you renewed energy. That's what it's supposed to do.
I remember when we were in training camp, and we had several interns, college kids, and Cowboys would play like a Friday or Saturday, and Sunday was off, and we'd get back on Monday, and I'd have to read them the riot act. It's like, okay, it's time to get back to work now. We ain't off anymore, right? And it took a while to get everybody in tune to what we needed to do. So I could see that happening, but they got to protect against it, obviously. That and Jonathan Taylor.
All right, keep talking. You
look like you got something to say.
You're going to look up what they've done after buys.
Well, but he can't find it as well because it's not in his notebook.
Where
it's not in his notebook.
go?
See, that's
what year was it? Oh, it was that year. Okay. 2018 at Indianapolis, the 23-0 game.
Yeah.
That was not, I had to refresh my memory, that was not the week after Thanksgiving. It was 2 weeks after Thanksgiving.
So they were back in.
So the Cowboys had played Philadelphia the week before and won 29-23, then went to Indianapolis and got shut out 23-0. The Cowboys had won 5 straight games and then went to Indianapolis and laid an egg 23-0.
But, when you look at who takes over the team, the intensity that they had, they still have. The games are still manageable. They're still close enough to where they could have won it with one play here, one play there. It didn't change what they were able to do, but they did not lose any intensity or productivity as a team. They still kept it at status quo. And that's kind of tough to do when you lose a very good head coach in Frank. And then when you bring on an amateur in Jeff, and then all of a sudden you expect them to be worse. But they weren't. They seem to be maintaining. Mm-hmm. And that's something that, I don't want to give Jeff too much credit, but that's something that you have to give the team credit for is like, okay, we're not just saying, okay, the season's over. They're actually still playing very hard football.
All right.
You know what? I thought I'd check this out. So the Eagles played Houston on November 3rd, won 29-17, and then they must have had their bye because they didn't play again until November 14th.
Okay.
Lost to Washington 32-21.
Coming off their
bye
or mini. It might have been a Thursday game. I can't remember.
Yeah.
What was the date of it?
November 3rd to November 14th. It was a night game on the 3rd.
It would have been a Thursday game.
That was a Thursday game. All right. And then it was a night game again when they played Washington.
Okay.
Well, let's see.
So coming off a mini bye, and what'd they do again?
They got beat by
Washington. There you go.
32-21.
All right.
And before they play the Cowboys, no, they're playing on the 18th, so it's Sunday to Saturday.
Okay. All right. We continue with more Mick shots, and I've got a rant when we come back here in just a moment.
Oh, I can't wait.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Barr and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more. Back to Mick Shots.
'Tis the season for Dallas Cowboys holiday youth camps presented by Invisalign. Registration for one-day football and dance academy camps are now open. Don't miss your chance to send your athlete to camp at AT&T Stadium on December 20th and 21st. Register today at dallascowboys.com/academy and use code Xmas25 to get $25 off there.
Xmas. That's right.
All right. Mickey, did you see Terrence Steele at practice? Let me answer that question for you. You did not.
I did not.
You did not.
And I didn't look for him either.
Cowboys right tackle Terrence Steele is not at practice today.
He's sick.
And, of course, Trayvon Diggs and Michael Gallup missed yesterday, missing again today. And so we're going to assume that Terrence Steele, or do you know more than that?
No.
Okay.
And do whoever did that give you the bottom line on why they put that out? Like he could have been late to practice? He's sick?
Michael Gelkin tweet.
Yeah.
Cowboys right tackle Terrence Steele is not at practice today.
Because?
Does not say. Coach Mike McCarthy hinted that illness is impacting others, not just cornerback Trayvon Diggs and wide receiver Michael Gallup, who are missing practice for a second straight day. Injury report to come this afternoon.
Oh, okay. So we don't get to the bottom line. We just get it out there.
We're just during the open portion of practice, Terrence Steele was not out there.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm guessing
He's got to be just a
got
sickness.
the bug.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's what happens these days.
So, William.
Yes.
You got something you want to say?
All right. It came out today, and this does impact the NFL and the NFL draft process, by the way. It came out today that the college football playoff will start in 2024, which is a great thing. It's a 12-team playoff. The Rose Bowl relented. They've agreed to it, and we're all good. We've got a 12-team college football playoff that's going to start in 2024.
When does it start, William?
Here's the problem with it.
Now, wait, 2024 season.
2024-25 school year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So 2 years from now, okay? We got to wait another 2 years for it, but it's going to happen in 2024. They also reported the calendar for this 12-team playoff, which would be 4 rounds of games. Okay, you got the top 4 teams in the country that will get first-round byes. So you got 8 other teams that are playing each other, and it will be Saturday, December 21st is the first round of games, followed on New Year's Day by the quarterfinal games. And then you'll have the semifinal games a week to 10 days after that, whatever the calendar says. And then the national championship game on January 20th.
Wow.
Here's my rant. Why in the world are you starting this December 21st and running it through January 20th? Start the thing this weekend.
Well, in that calendar year, when is this weekend?
Well, I haven't looked at that calendar year. But let's just use this year as an example. Okay.
All right.
And let's say it started this year, and Christmas Day is December 25th. So the first round of games would be December 17th. Okay. All right. My point is, get rid of these conference championship games. They mean nothing, especially if you're going to expand the playoffs to 12 teams. These teams are getting in anyway. And so play your first round games the first Saturday in December. Second Saturday in December, you play the quarterfinals. The losers of those games can go to a bowl game, and then New Year's Day, you play your semifinals. You're back on the calendar that you have right now. The issue with it is you've got teams that are going to wrap up their season Thanksgiving weekend, okay, a 12-game season, and then they're going to start another 4-game season on December 21st, a month later. And these are players who aren't getting paid. And you're asking them, okay, now over your Christmas break, on into next semester, okay, January 20th, you're playing 4 more games here. It's absolutely ridiculous.
At this point, you've got players opting out of bowl games.
Right. And with this transfer portal, okay, let's say you're a third-string guy for Ohio State, okay, and your team you're in the playoff, But you got to make a decision that, okay, I'm going in the transfer portal, but I'm not even playing for Ohio State. Why do I stick around until January 20th
Right.
and I can't
That's
start my new semester at my new school? And, I mean, it's just nonsense.
But also, you can look at the point where some guys are opting out. So then that third-string guy who maybe not be in the transport portal, he might have a chance to play.
Have a chance to play. All right, here's the thing when it comes to the NFL. Now you've got the semifinals being played January 10th, 12th, whatever it is. Championship game January 20th. All right, when's the Senior Bowl? January 27th, basically. Okay? And so you're going to expect those seniors to go immediately go to the Senior Bowl. Then you need rest and recovery, whatever. You expect them now to start training for the Combine, which is a month later when your season just ended on January 20th. You got to recover from your season. You just played a 16-game season.
What is the last date for the national championship? Last year, what was the date?
January 10th.
That was it?
Yeah.
It only went to the 10th.
Right.
So now we're talking about going even further.
Another 10 days later. And you're playing 3 to 4 games over that December 20th to January 20th time frame.
But you will have fewer players opting out, don't you think? Because it's not a bowl game, it's the national championship.
Yep, you're in.
So you're going to have a lot of guys, they're going to stick around. They're not going to be going off and saying, okay, I'm done with the bowl.
Right, I still got a shot at it. Yeah.
But this will increase the other guys that aren't in the playoffs to say, adios, I'm not going to that bowl game.
That's right.
They already do that.
Yeah, I know they do it.
Exactly.
But it'll be more when there's nothing tangible out there.
Mm-hmm.
So are they playing the first 3 rounds at home? Or?
The first round is played at a home stadium. Now, the higher seeded team, they have the choice of also, if, for instance, if you're Ohio State and in December 20th, a home game, I mean, you could find a stadium that's indoors near you. If they wanted to play in Indianapolis, they can play in Indianapolis if they wanted to, you know.
Right. But otherwise, it's home.
It's a home game, and then it's bowl games on New Year's Day.
Neutral, the second round.
And those bowls have already been determined, for the quarterfinals. Yeah.
And then the semifinals?
Semifinals are in bowls. Cotton Bowl hosts the first semifinal.
And then the championship at a bowl site.
It's actually, I can't remember what it is. They've already determined the sites.
Or does it have to be a bowl? Can they?
No,
so if you have got teams going to the championship, to the playoffs, then the bowl selections are going to be they're going to change. They're going to be so fluid, aren't they? Because you might have a team that you want to play in a bowl game, but they might be in the.
They're not going to let the Bulls have like 2 games, our bowl game and a playoff.
That's
game?
what I'm saying.
No, that is your bowl game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
In this
Atlanta.
arrangement. It's Atlanta in 2024, 25.
It says college football playoff selection, Atlanta for 2025 national championship.
And then the next year, 2025.
That is 2025.
2026
is South Florida.
Yeah, that's meaning the 25-26 season.
Yes.
All right. So at least it's either indoors or at a warm weather site.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's just nonsense. You're starting your preseason workout.
Going on.
These unpaid college players are starting their preseason practices when NFL training camps open, basically August 1st, and you expect them to play all the way to the Super Bowl, basically January 20th.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd move the Senior Bowl now to after the Super Bowl?
They might.
And
move the Combine back too?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's just nonsense. When you can very easily keep the same calendar that you have right now and play your first 2 rounds, first 2 weeks in December, and then do the bowl games for the semifinals, just like you have.
The conference championship games will confuse things.
I was going to say, do you want bowl games or do you want conference championship games?
Yeah, but don't you think that if you're a conference, they'll make it where, and I don't know if they have or not, a conference winner automatically makes the playoff?
Right, they do.
So there you go. That's why you have to have those conference.
You don't have
games.
to have the conference championship games. You can win a conference championship in the regular season.
No, but hold on a second, Bill. That's wrong. Because TCU, if they win, obviously they win the Big 12. But if Kansas State wins, they'll have 2 losses and they will win the Big 12 championship. So
they are in the current arrangement, but if you just
that.
take the regular season, the TCU has won the regular season championship.
Yeah, but
they beat Kansas State.
But how you do at the SEC with what they got 16 teams up there?
That's why you have a 12-team tournament where you got the at-large teams, the teams that don't win the conference in the regular season, or if you have 2 teams that won the conference, they're both getting into the playoff. If you go look at the history of these conference championship games, they are blowout games. And look at this week. You got TCU playing Kansas State, okay? If you took the 12-team playoff, both those teams are going into the playoff right now, okay? They don't have to play each other. They're in the playoff.
Yeah, but TCU, their seed would be affected if they lost.
If they lost. But, okay, so go have them play they earn the first round bye from their unbeaten regular season.
So then they would just be placed in the playoff schedule.
As a number 3 seed.
And then conferences would be like, okay, we got one in, but if they lose, then we get another one in.
Mm-hmm.
There might be some shenanigans going on.
All right, the other thing you do, if you want to keep the conference championship games, play them Thanksgiving weekend.
I just think you do away with them.
I think so too. But if you are bound and determined and you've got money invested or money you're making off of it, play them Thanksgiving weekend and then start your playoff the first weekend in December. Cut it down from a 12-game regular season to an 11-game regular season.
Well, you know what's really sorry is the reason probably they're playing it the next weekend, Bill, is because you have that one game in 2 weeks that you have to play by itself. Only team plays that weekend. Army, Navy.
Well, Army, Navy needs to do what the Rose Bowl did.
Then they need to play.
Army, Navy needs to do what the Rose Bowl did and start and relent and agree to it.
I'm just saying.
That's right.
Just play that game in October.
That's right. Exactly.
Kinda like
and
Air
they can
Force
play it at
does,
AT&T Stadium. We'll open up AT&T Stadium for you. All right.
Lowe's Fieldhouse.
Yeah. And the other thing about just play the conference championship games on Thanksgiving weekend, if you ever look at outside of Ohio State, Michigan, which is a huge rivalry game, what the college football stadiums look like when they host a regular season game Thanksgiving weekend, they are deserted because there's no kids on campus. The TV doesn't show the shots of the crowd, but the crowds are non-existent.
There was 93,000 people at A&M.
Yeah, but I saw the Texas Tech game. You're right. The Texas Tech game, there was nobody there.
Right, exactly.
Well, that speaks well for the Aggies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a rivalry. That's their rivalry game.
That's
LSU.
Right. LSU.
That's right. All right, that does it for Mick Shots, and we will chat at you again tomorrow.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!